Hello, it's Jessica with Beta Virtual Assistants, and I am out here in the sun one more time. We are here for Tuesday tips, and it's another gorgeous fall day here, and the birds are chirping and the bugs are buzzing, and I'm out in the sunshine again. So we are coming down to the wire for USA tax investors to get their taxes filed, and if you haven't filed your taxes yet, oh my gosh, you might still have time. We actually were contacted on Sunday night by someone who has been in our course. He purchased our course 9 months ago. Stop me if this sounds familiar. He procrastinated. He did not start doing it, and he got to it this weekend, and he said, oh my goodness. So he reached out, he contacted us, and we said, we can do our best. We can probably try. He upgraded to premium on Sunday night, filled out his worksheet, because we have you make a list of the different places that you've been. It's not that he has a lot of transactions to reconcile, but they were all DeFi. Like, he has no normal exchange. Even the one exchange he has is one that doesn't connect by API. So it's just like, oh my gosh. But I am happy to say that I started work on it yesterday, and we got all of his stuff reconciled. We've been putting the final touches on it today. We have one more question to answer, and he is done. So there might still be time, even if you have DeFi, even if it's complicated, there might be time if you get on it right now. But I'm talking right now, like reach out, message us, book a time on my calendar if you can find my calendar link. But you can claim the course, and I believe my calendar link is somewhere in that course if you go far enough. So just keep going, because I am pulling apart grass, and I don't want to stop and find a link. So why are taxes so important, especially in a year like 2022, where a lot of people did not do very well investing, they did not make a lot of money, they might feel like it's not worth reporting because they had so much in losses. And in one sense, and I've said this before, I don't think the IRS is going to come after you if you have losses that you didn't report, because that actually cuts into their income. But they definitely are going to come after you if you had previous gains, though. So definitely want to be filing if you're going to be a responsible citizen of the United States. And if you're not, wherever you are in the world, this also probably applies to wherever you are. And the reason you want to be responsible and everything is because you don't want fines and you don't want penalties. There's threat of jail time and all this sort of thing. So definitely want to stay away from that. So filing losses isn't fun. Reporting losses, tracking down your losses is not fun. But if you've got them reported and categorized correctly, which is what I did for this guy today, that means that you can reduce your income. So that means you pay less in income taxes. And if you don't have enough income that you can directly offset, like if you don't have any other capital gains to offset it, you can actually offset it in future years, $3,000 at a time. So, you know, next year when Bitcoin halves and it goes to the moon and you want to sell your Bitcoin for $100,000 and you don't want to pay taxes on it, if you had, you know, $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 of losses from this year that rolled over to next year, then you would really reduce the taxes that you would pay on future gains. So it is always a good thing to report your gains and losses. And the number one way you do that is by making sure you have the cost basis. And I know I talk about the cost basis all the time. I did write an ebook last year about cost basis being the holy grail, because it all comes down to cost basis. What did you pay to purchase the crypto? If you paid something for it, then that comes off of whatever gains you get from it, or whatever you sell it for is a better way to put it that. So if you paid $10 for a crypto and you sold it for $15, you only report the difference on your taxes. So you report the purchase price of $10, the sales price of $15, 15 minus 10 is $5, you have $5 of capital gains to report. But if you purchased it for $20 and you sold it for $15, now you have $20 minus 15, which is a $5 loss. And of course you can get this with bigger numbers, but I'm just trying to make a point. And the most tricky part about cost basis, especially if you were in any of these DeFi protocols, is that there are so many of them where you deposit something in and then it does something and then you get money out. And is that money a return of your capital, or is it actually income? Because the two things you're supposed to report if you are a USA investor is you're supposed to report anything you sold or disposed of, and that's your capital gains and trades, and every crypto tax software knows how to handle that. But you're also supposed to report anything you received that you didn't actually purchase. So if you got money from opening an account, or if you got interest or mining, I say this all the time, but you need to report these things. And so it becomes really important when you're in these DeFi protocols. If you are putting money in and then you get something out, you need to know if it's a return of capital or if you need to be reporting it as income. Tax softwares aren't going to know how to do that, number one. Number two, a lot of tax softwares don't really help you report your income. They are really good at reporting the trades because that's the easy part, but the income is confusing, and so they just kind of leave it off, or they don't really say, hey, you have this much income. The software that we recommend and use is coin tracking, and it definitely included as part of your tax report says this is what you earn from income, and this is the line on your tax form you're supposed to report it on. So we really love that about it. But it can only give you those numbers correctly if you have made the transactions to show movement of your money. So if you are moving money into a protocol, so many times it imports off the blockchain and it says, a Bitcoin went somewhere. And then like 3 months later, it comes back. And you know that you sent it to some protocol where it was doing something and then you pulled it back out. But the software can't know that. So it could possibly report the Bitcoin leaving as a sale, which means you're suddenly paying taxes on any capital gains you realized. And then it could also report that coming in as income, and you really don't want to pay taxes on a full Bitcoin worth of income that came in just because you didn't have the proper transactions showing that the money moved from here to there and then it came back again. And that's what it boils down to if you are in the drip protocol, if you are in anything like, I was working on this ooze protocol, which had something to do with the Ninja Turtles. Or there's another one called My Diamond Team, or there was Prosperity Gems PGV, something. All of these protocols where you deposit money in and then you get something back out, paid regularly or irregularly, you need to just make sure that all of that return of capital is marked so that you can optimize your taxes and not pay more than you have to. And that is what I love helping people with. If you have a complicated crypto tax situation and you need help, reach out. I know I say it all the time, but it really is true. That's where we're at. And that's really all I had to say today. Also, if I sit too long in the sun, I get sunburned. So I don't want to be out here too long. And I'm annoyed at Facebook squishing my video again. And I probably should eat something because I was so busy working on the guy's account that I didn't do very well at feeding myself today. So I am going to sign off. But if you have any questions, reach out. If you want to find out more about what we do, or if you need our help, take our little course, call me. I will see you another time, and have a great week, and we'll see you again on Thursday.